So welcome back to the channel, people. So today we're reviewing some questions that I received in regards to a video I made about why do I use the S&P 500 as my savings account, man. So look, before we get into the video, please like, subscribe, drop a comment, give us those thumbs up, man, and share this out after you finish this video, man. Let's get straight into it. So today, looking at these questions. So first up, we got a question from Liam. He says, which S&P 500 though? There's loads, I don't get it. All right, cool, Liam. So for some context, let's actually break down what the S&P 500 is first and foremost for people who don't know. So the S&P 500 just simply stands for Standard & Poor's 500. And what it is the 500 top businesses in the US market, the top performers, the big dogs, and they're the largest by market cap. So the size of the businesses are big, and you've got 500 of them wrapped into them. And the great thing about this is it allows me and you to invest in this, and immediately it gives us exposure to all of those 500 businesses. So you'll have businesses in the technology sector, you'll have businesses that are focused on hyper growth, you'll have healthcare businesses, you'll have consumer businesses, you'll have energy businesses. All these 11 sectors are inside of the S&P 500. So you've got companies that are new and they're growing. There's companies that have been around for a long time, like your Coca-Colas, your Pepsis. And then you've got companies also in there that are on the decline, that are almost on the back end of their lifetime. And the cool thing about the S&P is that those businesses that are on their last lifeline, they're on their dying death, they're on that decline, like we said, the S&P will remove those businesses completely automatically without you having to do anything. And that's the great thing, and it will replace them with a better performing business. So Leo, so when it comes to the S&P, obviously there's loads out there. Now he hasn't given much context as to what platform he's using or even where he's from. So let's assume. So let's take myself, let's think Liam is like myself, we're from the UK. So we have a limited amount of S&P funds that we can invest in. And the most notable ones, the one I personally use, is a fund called VUSA, okay? And it's a Vanguard fund. And what that does, it tracks the S&P 500. So when that goes up, VUSA goes up. When it goes down, VUSA mimics it exactly the same. It will go down. It indexes it. That's what that word means. So when it comes to which one to invest in, Liam, first and foremost, it depends on what platform you're using. It depends on where you are located. But let's just say, for argument's sake, you're from the UK. You know, not investment advice, but personally, I use VUSA, and I think that's what works for me. And that's what I use it technically as my savings account, meaning that, you know, it's going to average me anywhere between that 8 to 10% on average every year. And I'll be real, there's no bank account out there that's going to do that for your money. So that's why I use that term where I will put money into the S&P because it's going to yield me more money than a bank account would. Okay, so that's the first thing, man. So hopefully that clears it up a little bit. Like I said, it's not direct investment advice, but if you're asking me and where I put my own hard-earned money, it's VUSA, man. So look, next up, next question. We've got it from, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Juyu6. All right, cool. And Juyu6 says, what is the best to download to get this? Again, not the best question, not much context here, but again, let's use some assumption here. So what is the best to download to get this? I'm thinking potentially he or she is talking about a brokerage. So if you haven't got a brokerage, definitely as a beginner, there's a few great platforms out there, which I still use to this day and how I started. And the few that come to mind are Free Trade and Trading 212. And out of the two, I'd probably say Trading 212 is my favorite because, again, like I said, I still use it to this day. It's super easy, it's user friendly, it's got lovely bright colors, there ain't too much technical jargon in there. It's very simple, and you can put money in there immediately and start learning about the game, and also you can execute immediately and start buying some of your favorite shares. And the great thing is there's no minimum deposit in there, so you haven't got to put a certain amount in there to get going. You can buy things called fractional shares on there as well. So you can buy pieces of shares. Now, as a beginner, that's a good way to start, obviously to ease your risk and also your affordability. But I will say, you don't want to stay there, because the aim of the game is to grow your portfolio, and you want as many whole shares rather than fractional shares, okay? So the focus is getting as many shares as possible to build your portfolio up, because that's where you're going to get the true returns and gains on your money, man. So hopefully you use 6, that helps you out. And we're assuming, like we said, that you haven't got a brokerage, and that's what you mean. So I would start there, have a look into either free trade, trade in 212, have a check it out, do your research, man, and come back to us once you've executed on that. So next up, we've got another question. Okay, this one's from Seth. And shout out to Seth, man, because I will say, Seth is one of the guys who reached out to me. I pointed him in the right direction and he executed, man. So shout out to you, Seth. Big ups to you. So Seth was saying that, which do you recommend? Okay, so trading 212 or Vanguard? And what is the first step for a beginner? Now, great question, Seth, man. Now, regards to this, we kind of covered it in the last question. I would probably say trading 212 definitely for beginners to get started. And the reason is, Vanguard's amazing, but with Vanguard, you can only invest in Vanguard products. They don't allow you to buy single stocks or any other fund or any other brand. You have to buy Vanguard direct. You have to go straight to the plug. And the reason trading 212 is probably best for beginners, like we covered before, it's user friendly, it's visually great, it's easy to use, and you've got a multitude of funds and stocks you can put your money into, man. You're not tied down to a particular brand in there, okay? And it's just easy for beginners, man. It's a great place to start. And Seth, again, like I said, big ups to you, because you executed, you set up the trading 212 account, and you're in the game, man. So that's the most important thing. So hopefully Seth's question helps some of you out there as well. Cool. So next up, we got another question coming in from Loading. Cool. I don't know about that, but I don't know what you're loading from. Sounds a bit mischievous, but okay, Loading. We're gonna you know what I'm saying, we're gonna entertain you. So Loading is saying that, are you confident the US will keep doing well? And would you not prefer an all-world fund instead? Cool. So 2 questions. Let's break this down. So let's address the second question first. So an all-world fund. So what Loading is saying is an all-world fund basically tracks all of the stock market, like in its entirety. So I don't know the exact number, but we're looking about 4,000, 5,000 stocks, okay? So an all-world fund collectively just compiles all of those 4,000 stocks into one place, and you can invest in that fund and you get exposure to all of those, okay? So that's that second question. That's what an all-world fund is. Now I'll address if I would prefer to use that or not after. So he's saying that, are you confident the US will keep doing well? And the reason I am confident is not necessarily an opinion, it's more based on data. Now I understand that empires and, you know, big corporations, big countries, they have an expiry date. It's been the same since the dawn of day, since history. You know, the British Empire was the same, the Roman Empire, so on and so forth. America, they're saying it's on its teetering edge, it's kind of on its decline, which is cool, I understand. But the reality is, in our lifetime currently, and the lifetimes before us, America, when it comes to growth, when it comes to innovation, when it comes to corporate business at the top level, there is no one on the planet that does them better than America. That's just facts. That's not my opinion. And you can go check the data on that. And the reason it was so easy for me to subscribe to investing in mainly US equities, meaning US stocks, is just the fact that the numbers don't lie and the numbers prove, you know what I'm saying? Like, that is where the money is flowing globally. That's where the biggest businesses are. Your Apples, your Microsofts, your Nvidias, your Amazons, they're all in America. They're all in North America. And until that changes, that's when I'll start moving my money elsewhere. It's not that deep. Like I just follow the trail. You know, and success leaves clues. That's what we need to understand as well. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to find the needle in the haystack. I just buy the whole haystack. That's the whole concept with this. So yeah, to answer your question, loading, I think the US will keep doing well, and until it doesn't do well, that's when I'll shift and I'll jump ship. No qualms with me at all. And you know what I'm saying? This is the thing about this investing game. You can't be married to it. You need to be married to the education and learning about it, but you need to treat it like, I ain't gonna say that. So, you kind of have to treat it like a side chick. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to be willing to cut ties with it if you need to and jump into something else. I don't know if that's the best analogy, but I'm going to roll with it. But anyway, as a married man, that sounds mad to say. But yeah, you can't get married to the emotion of loving any business or, you know, a particular stock market. But for now, the American market's dominating and it's killing the game. And you can't dispute that, all right? So hopefully that answers that question. Oh yeah, and would I prefer to use a all-world index? Simple answer, no, I won't loading, because I'll tell you why. Yeah, we've got more exposure to more companies, but with more exposure comes more risk, because the odds of having more bad businesses inside of that 4,000 is greatly increased. You know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, like, you've got more exposure for it to go up, but the average, you know, when you average it out, it's not going to do better than something like the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, but just because you've got more exposure to downside risk, all right? And just to top it up with some numbers, an all-world index, if you take something like VTWSX, I believe that's the ticker, that averages about 7% a year, all right? So already you can clearly see from the averages that the S&P will knock that out of the ballpark anytime. So hopefully that answers your question, loading man. Appreciate you. But I don't know about that username. It's a bit crazy still. Cool. So next question up, we've got content for everyone. Okay, cool. I can rock with that. So content for everyone is saying, so on trading 212, there is 2 S&P 500s. Which one should I put money into? Cool. I like this. Again, I like this because this is a great question. It can help people out, man. And again, I'm only going to talk from personal experience. This is not financial advice. Anything I'm talking about, this is for entertainment, educational purposes only. You got to do your own research for that, or consult a financial advisor. So I personally own, like I said before, I personally own VUSA, all right, which is the S&P 500 fund. And that's what works for me. And the reason I have VUSA is because VUSA will pay dividends quarterly, and they pay out in cash, all right? So for me personally, I like the cash in my account. Like I said, it builds up. I've got an amount of shares, and per share, they will pay you a certain amount of money for hold the fund. And they pay that in cash every 3 months, every quarter, they will pay that into your account. Some accounts are different, sometimes it's monthly, but particularly this fund is quarterly. Now, he says there's 2 main ones on Trading 212, and he's correct. So VUSA is the first one. So the other one I'm presuming he's talking about, because again, having experience of looking on that app, the other one's called VUAG. And the difference is, the only difference is that VUSA will pay you out in cash dividend, but VUAG will automatically reinvest the dividends for you. And that's amazing as well, because they will both yield you the same return yearly, but there's 2 different dividend distributions, and there isn't no right or wrong, because I have exposure to doing both sides of things. But I believe when you get a certain amount of shares in your portfolio, I think the cash option would be probably most optimal, because again, if you have an abundance of shares, it may even get to the point where that free dividend they give you could subsidize some of your living income, which is an amazing, amazing tool. But I think when you're starting out, when you're building up, I think the VUAG is amazing, because it just automates things, it makes things easier, and you haven't got to go into your account and start manually reinvesting things. It will do it for you automatically, ultimately buying you more shares, and then the more shares you have, the more dividends they give you, man. So it's an amazing, amazing, powerful tool to use when you're building your portfolio, man. So that's a great, great question, content for everyone. Salute to that, and we appreciate you, man. That's amazing. Cool. Next question, man. This is from Again, another name. Why are people putting the names on this stuff? So cool. This is from a guy called R. Whatever R stands for. Maybe Ricky or something. So R saying, yeah, but there's no point if you're gonna invest anything under 10K. Invest 1K to make 100 doesn't make no sense. Just take the risk and use the money to start a business or something. Okay, R. So I understand now why you're called R. Because R stands for rookie, all right? So this is mad, and to be fair, I don't know why I like this comment, because I'm not soliciting anything he's saying right here. And firstly, look, I never said to do anything directly I'm doing. I only talk from my experience, okay? So clearly you've missed the mark on this and not understanding the concept, okay? And understanding that compounding is where the true magic is. And for context, man, I started in this game with £60, all right? And now I built my portfolio to over 6 figures in a short amount of time because I understand the power of compounding. And I think, again, I'm empathizing with because, why am I calling him It's mad. But I'm empathizing with him because I understand that a lot of people may have this limiting belief and mindset that they need to already be financially like abundant or have a surplus of cash flow coming in to be able to start in this game, and that's completely wrong. Now it's obvious that having more money will get you faster to your freedom number. That's obvious, but you don't need to start there. You don't need to be free in order to start investing. At the minimum, if you've got some savings and you're not financially trying to determine if you're going to buy the Warburton's bread or the Tesco value bread, then you have no business investing in the stock market if you're making those kind of life decisions. You know what I'm trying to say? So I need to understand that starting small is also powerful, and just like any snowball, it starts as a snowflake, it rolls downhill trajectory, and once you start building up the fortitude, the financial fortitude, understanding that compounding is where the true power is, you start adding in consistently, and you build up. That's how you start making the returns, man. So that's complete garbage. You don't need to start with 10K, because I didn't start with 10K. I don't know many people that started with 10K, and it's just not true. So man, like I said, I think there's strength in starting small, because with starting small, the only way is up, all right? So when you start with 10K, it could be a benefit, but what's the point of starting with 10K when you haven't got the education, you haven't got the experience, you haven't got what it feels like to, when you see your account in the red? That's more of a burden than starting with something like £100, because the risk is so much lower. And the true way to, to combat the risk in this game is to continually educate. And the only way you get real world experience is by actually playing the game, not by theorizing, not by talking about it, and not by sitting on the sidelines and shouting that you need more money to get in the game, because that is just not the case, man. And that's why you're being a rookie right now, all right? So cool, last question, man. The question comes from burner account. What? Listen, man, what are these names? Why have you got a burner account? Who are you, bro? Why have you got no profile picture, and why have you got a burner account? Are you come on, man, what's going on? What's going on? Just put your name, just put your picture, just be a normal person. But anyway, let's keep it moving, man. So burner account is saying, dude, I want to invest so bad. I'm 22, I've got 0 investments, I want to start somewhere. I just don't understand. I have 1K to invest. Cool, burner, that's a great question, man. I don't know about the dude because he threw me off a little bit, but still, I'm gonna rock with it, man. So you're 22, amazing, young, and the fact that you're even thinking about investing at 22 is amazing, because I definitely wasn't doing that. First thing I want to say to you, burner, is don't rush, don't feel like you're missing the boat, don't get FOMO, don't get jumping in and out of all these different things. If you really want to dedicate to this and you really want to change the trajectory of your next 5 to 10 years, lock in, man. But run your own race, I'd first say. Again, you might be already doing that. I'm just assuming. I'm just saying from me, a 33-year-old, talking back to my 22-year-old self, man, is understand that, you know, run your race. Don't worry about left and right. Put the blinders on. And over the next 5-10 years, just be a racehorse, man. Just look forward and focus on what you want to do. And if it is something like this, and really start getting into investments and start understanding the market and start understanding that you can change your financial trajectory just by educating yourself, is how you're going to free yourself. Just lock in, man. So amazing. So Bernard said, like I said, he wants to start somewhere, he wants to get in the game, he's got 1K to invest. So firstly, I would say, Bernard, if you want to get in this game, I would say separately, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but I would say put some cash to the side for some kind of emergency fund, or just some liquid cash ready. If you've already got that, let's assume you've already got that to the side, whatever that number is that's relative to you, then we can start looking into investments. And first thing you need is obviously your brokerage, like we said, and I think it's fitting because we spoke about it a few questions ago. I think trading 212 is a great place to start. Again, not financial advice. I use that myself personally among other accounts because it's a great place to start. It will cost you nothing to get in the game. They even offer an ISA you can get in the game with, meaning gains in that account completely tax-free, all right? Which is a powerful tool, and it's a great wealth building tool, and they offer that on there. So when it comes to investments, again, I'm not going to give you financial advice. I'm only going to talk about what I would do. So if you gave me £1,000 now, and I had to set up a portfolio, I can't do anything else with the money, and I had to buy some stocks in there, this is what I would do. Matter of fact, I'm going to do this live, okay? I'm going to go on Yahoo Finance right now. I'm going to pull up Yahoo Finance, and I'm going to do this live, okay? We're going to pattern this up in real time. Cool. So £1,000 to play with. I want to probably get the most out of my money. I don't really want to play it too safe, but I don't want to be too YOLO at the same time. I want to focus on growth and get the most out of my money. So where would I go first? What I'm going to do, I'm going to throw some sleepers in here as well. So this is what I'm going to do. I ain't going to go tech straight away. I ain't going to go into the tech stocks. So don't worry, we ain't going to go into the Nvidia and all that kind of stuff. What I am going to go into though is the healthcare sector, because no one talks about the healthcare sector, okay? And especially the healthcare sector in America, it's crazy, and it's the second biggest industry when it comes to the market caps and the returns, man. So what I'll be doing, I'm gonna pull up a business called Novo Nordisk, okay? Ticker symbol NVO. Amazing business, probably the #2 player when it comes to healthcare and killing it. And when it comes to things like the Ozempic and the Wegovy, those guys are leading the way in that, and that's who are pushing that drug out the door, man. So it's an amazing company to get involved in. Right now as well, the company price is about $126, all right? Let's do a quick little bit of maths. You know what I'm saying? So we've got 1,000. I'm gonna get me around about 4 to 5 shares of this Novo Nordisk, okay? So it's about just under half of our budget is blown right now, okay? So that's my first position I'll be buying with this, all right? Next up, where I'm gonna go now, again, like I said, let's forget the tech, let's forget the obvious. We ain't gonna do the Apple, we ain't gonna do the Nvidia like we said. We're gonna keep it, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna keep the sleepers in there. So the next company I'll be buying, I'll be real right now, is a fan favorite. It's a consumer staple. I'm gonna go with the big dog, Amazon, all right? Amazon's one of my biggest holdings in my portfolio, and it's killing my portfolio in a good way, man. There's a lot of green when it comes to Amazon on the scene. So look, man, Amazon right now, the price, $182, man. It's a steal. So look, I'm gonna grab some Amazon, yeah? Let me do just a little bit of maths on that now. So look, we had 1,000. Let's just say we bought 4 Novo Nordisk. Let's take away that. Let me work that out, man. Come on, man, I'm slipping right now. So take away the 480. Boom, so we've got £520 to play with, okay? So £520, okay, and we divide that by Amazon's share price. Give us about 2.8, just in the free shares of Amazon we could cop for that amount of money. So I think my maths is correct. So if we do 4 Novo Nordisk, we do 3 Amazon, that locks us in just under our £1,000 budget, man. So that's what I would do. If you gave me £1,000, like you said, I had to get in the game, that's something I would do personally. I'm not saying that you need to do that. But yeah, man, we did that live. We ran through the numbers real quick. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So great question, man. Amazing question, burner. You know what I'm saying? Burner account. But yeah, I think, like I said, these questions were great, and we ran through some ideas about like why we need to get into the market and why I use the S&P as my savings account, man. And hopefully I gave you some clarity on that, gave you some new direction, and hopefully you learned something new today. And if you got any value, man, please drop a comment. Let me know if you have any further questions you want me to review or just address generally. You can always hit me up in my inbox, hit me up on Instagram at Ash Assets, hit me on TikTok at Ash Assets, whichever you prefer to use. Don't forget to drop us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, help us grow, man. And people need this information, and it's important that we start as early as possible, but it doesn't matter, man. You're never too late to get in this game. The best time to invest was 10 years ago, but the second best time is right now, man. It's been your boy Ash Assets. Appreciate your time, and I'll see you in the next video, man. Let's go.